Hey Ying, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Matt.
Good. Ying and I are local real estate agents serving the Metro West region of Massachusetts primarily, and we are doing our questions of the day today.
Well, we got more questions than we had before.
What's today's topic, Ying?
So today's topic, we're gonna be like a free question format. How about I keep asking you question
Free form? Okay.
and you answer the question?
Why do you always get to ask me questions? Why can I ask you questions?
Well, Matt, you're good at answer questions. I'm good at asking questions. That's why.
Well, we'll let the viewers decide who's good at doing what. So why don't you go ahead, fire away.
Alright, so Matt, right now the market is mainly everybody knows is sellers market. What do you think? Why you think it's a seller's market?
Well, direct observation, number one, but typically what you look at is if you're looking at a statistical measures, you're a data driven person. We look at the month supply of inventory, which is effectively available inventory divided by average sales within a certain period. And that gives you a number of months of inventory that's available in the market. So
Right.
right now in Metro West region, it's generally between 1 and 2 months of inventory.
Sometimes it's a little bit below one,
Right.
even
Yeah,
some
but it's
area.
been in the range of 1 to 2, closer to one in some places, but really low.
That
Uh,
means like 1 month, all the house on the market will be sell.
exactly. It'll take 1 month to exhaust the supply of inventory in the market,
Right.
given buyer demand. But currently, when we look at that measure, anything below 5 months is considered a seller's market. Anything above 7 months is considered a buyer's market, and in between is a balanced market.
That's right.
But I mean, it's not uncommon, and we can. This is my direct observation comment. It's not uncommon for us, whether we're listing a house or we're representing a buyer, to have more than 10 offers. In fact, this weekend we had one offer that we were representing for a buyer, and they were competing against 20 other offers. And it's just a
Competitive
very
market.
competitive
It's
market. Thank
really,
you.
yeah. So you think because the inventory number of houses on the market decided what is the market, a seller or buyer or balanced? Okay, so what kind of market do you prefer, Matt? So do you prefer seller or buyer or balanced?
Well, I'll give a smart aleck answer. If I'm representing a seller, I like this market. I like a seller's market, okay, because I want to
Yes.
get my seller the best possible deal, and vice versa. If a buyer, I would prefer a market closer to probably 2 years ago, and but even with a lot more supply of inventory than we currently have today. But the truth is that our job is to find people places to live or to sell their home, and it's much better from my perspective to have a more balanced market.
Yeah.
But that's not the case today. We are clearly the seller's market, and I don't see that ending anytime soon.
Yep. So another question is to get buyer's offer accepted, what do you generally do as a buyer agent?
Beg. No, I'm kidding around. You well, I think the first order of business is to coach your buyers, and um, it's very important to give them a clear understanding of what the market's like. People know it's a seller's market, but to really kind of break down what the realities of a good offer or an offer that's going to get accepted looks like. And
Yeah.
that's typically becoming, you have to waive all contract terms. So there's no inspection, there's no mortgage contingency. That's become more prominent of late. So you're not protected by any of those, guarantees or those
Yeah, that means like
contingencies. Yeah, those
yeah,
contingencies.
contingencies. You're more risk.
Those are, if you have them in your contract, there's always going to be someone who's willing to waive them. I mean, that's just been the practice. I'm sorry to say, but that's the truth.
Right.
The other thing you have to get used to is that the list price is the starting point. 2 years ago, you could negotiate, you could buy a house for less than the list price. And it's still true today. You could do that, but it's more of an exception than the rule. And that's why you need a good agent to make sure that the list price is reasonable. But generally, the list price is the starting point, and then you're bidding, 5%, 10%, or whatever percent above that value to get that house. And for example, in Wellesley in March, the houses were selling at a 10% premium over the list price. And I think Natick was like 5%, but it varies by town, as real estate does. Remember, real estate is a
Local.
location.
Yeah.
And supply demand varies by location. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, very well said. Thank you. Matt, let's talk a little bit more about first-time home buyer, because we have so many of them. How you prepare first-time home buyer to get their offer accepted for their first dream home?
Well, I think we talked about some of those things. The agent needs to prepare their buyer, whether they're new or they're existing. They're moving from somewhere and they're looking for a new home to land. But I think with the new home buyers, you're trying to get them to be realistic.
Yeah, prepare them financially and then.
Right, in terms of what they can afford, and do they have the right pre-approvals? Making sure you're with the right lenders, and lenders that when they say you're pre-approved, that that's not a guarantee, but almost a guarantee that you can deliver.
Yeah.
In case you decide to do the unthinkable, at least that's how I call it, and that's waive your mortgage contingency.
That's true.
I'm not a big fan of doing that, but the reality is it doesn't matter what I think. There's other people that are willing to do it, and if you want to get your offer accepted, you're going to have to do that.
Unfortunately. So for people want to find a good agent, what do you think will be, the most important thing people would need to look into?
Well, to me, it's like hiring an employee. I think you should interview at a minimum of at least 3 people. It could be 2 or 4 or whatever, but pick a number, and then be disciplined about it, and go recruit 3 or more, or at least 2. You want to at least have a comparative, and then sit down with those agents and ask them some questions that you have prepared, and make sure you think it through. And one of the questions I'd want to know is what kind of experience you have, and where do you think, based on my budget and so forth, do you think I should be looking for? Where do you think I have the greatest chance of success?
I love that question. Yeah, it's very realistic for this market.
Yeah, but take the time. Not all agents are created equal. There are good agents and there are not so good agents, and you want to find someone who's going to put in the time for you, and
fight for you,
and somebody you can trust.
Yeah,
and that's important. You got to have someone you trust, because you're going to be relying on their advice on how to proceed. Okay,
that's true. That's good. So here we go. I think that's all the question I have. And
that's it.
That's it, Matt,
right,
for
good.
today.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we have links below. We just put out a March newsletter and town rankings for the Metro West region. Okay, town rankings are looking at sales price, price per square foot, and which are the leading towns in terms of whatever the metrics measuring, highest to lowest. But we put a lot of time into these monthly articles, and we'll have a link below, and we'd love to hear your feedback.
And make sure you like and follow us on YouTube.
Exactly.
And share the link with your friends.
And if there's things you don't like, you could send us a note, and we'd like to hear that. Maybe we could do a better job of it.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have
Bye
a great
now.
day. Bye-bye.